Another day and another Tamar drama. Tamar is speaking on The Breakfast Club about her beef with Kandi, or maybe not so beef with Kandi. Not only that, she's explaining, or maybe not explaining, why she didn't go to her sister Towanda's recent wedding that's being filmed for the new season of The Braxton.
Here we go now.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So let's first start off with the Braxton. So Tamar has revealed, because you may recall, we did talk about the last season of the Braxtons, and Tamar really only had sort of a quote friend of role, meaning that she really was not that involved in last season. So she's promoting her new cooking show with her mom, Miss E, and she reveals that this season she will have a full-time role. And we told you just yesterday that the Braxtons did film Towanda's recent wedding. But there were reports that Tamar Braxton was not at her sister's wedding. Well, she talked to the Breakfast Club this morning, revealing a little information as to her involvement in this wedding.
Sister's wedding?
I think that's for her to discuss.
She didn't invite you?
I think that's for her to discuss. I do.
I'm an only child, so I don't know how y'all sisters and brothers be playing
I'm
these
not
games.
an only
like-
child, but I know when I watch the show, because I've been watching y'all show for a long
Yeah.
time, and I think a lot of us too, even outside the show, we feel like we've grown up on your family because you guys have just been famous forever.
Yeah.
It was for me watching it. I know y'all go through things, but I like to see y'all, like, especially when your mom gets involved and she makes y'all make up, because I'm like, that's how it really be in families
It
for
does.
real.
Hell yeah.
But I think for a lot of people, when we heard the thing about the wedding, it was like, dang, a wedding is so like that's so serious. Like, I know it had to hurt you if it did happen. And then I'm like, what happened to even make it get there? So I think that's why everybody still wants to know, like, well, what the heck? Like,
All I know is that I'm the maid of honor, and I'm going to leave that at that. And I'm going to let her tell the rest of her story.
You were or you was? Were means you were supposed to be and it didn't happen.
I'm just saying that I got the invitation that you are the maid of honor. Okay.
Well, here's the interesting. First of all, we have to remember they're filming a reality show. So under their contracts, they really can't talk about the details of conflict that's going on. And also we have to remember Tamar is a reality TV pro. She understands how to kind of lock us in like, oh, so they do have something to actually talk about this season, other than what they talked about last season. Because after last season, a lot of people were like, okay, so what are we going to talk about in this new season? Well, the toxic drama, a lot of people will say, between the sisters continue. Because a wedding is a big deal for a lot of people. And for you not to be included, and you are saying that you were selected as the maid of honor, I can already hear what you guys are saying in the audience. I am not scheduling and watching another toxic season of the Braxtons. Speaking of toxic, the relationship between Tamar Braxton and Kandi continues to be news. The last time this actually got reignited was on Entertainment Tonight when Bryson Sanders asked.
As far as Kandi and the gang, yeah, we did have a conversation about doing another season, but then, I don't know, it didn't come together. So Todd and I are still thinking about doing it somewhere else.
Okay. Could bring it back. You got all those restaurants. And you can, invite Tamar on to...
You will not be bringing her in my interview.
Nobody is saying, yo, where we going to go eat? Bitch, let's go to Old Lady Gang. Who?
Can you believe that she's still on you?
I'm not playing games with clowns. Like, I'm not finna be in the circus with you, sweetheart. Like, we're not doing that ever again.
Kandi about the situation between Kandi and Tamar, where the old video of Tamar talking about Old Lady Gang, which we talked about yesterday. We also talked about Kandi speaking on how her name was removed from the lawsuit. However, her company is still on the lawsuit, but that's a whole other story. We talked at length about that yesterday. We also found out that OLG, at least one of the restaurants, but someone in the comments section said, no, the other restaurant is closed too. It went from being temporarily closed to now on Google saying that it's permanently closed. And in regards to the Kandi lawsuit, that lawsuit actually pertains to the Blaze Seafood and Steakhouse restaurant. We talked about that yesterday. Be sure to check out that video so I don't have to go at length. But the video that Tamar was an old video. This is why we pretty much ignored when that video resurfaced, that Tamar had talked about OLG and saying no one goes to that restaurant. People have been talking about that restaurant for years, blah, 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 blah.
Nobody has yet to say how nasty old lady gang is. Nobody. Why? And that is a known thing here in Atlanta. Like, it's something like nobody is saying, yo, where we going to go eat? Bitch, let's go to old lady gang. Who? Oh, bitch, that steak from Blaze was banging. What's the name of the person? Where they at? Now, let's just be honest. Are we being honest? Is we everybody got their head down. See, everybody, y'all scared too? Listen, because I'm just being honest. This is what the premise of the show is. Now, y'all done read She by Sheree. The lady done called the girl Sheen by Sheree. The lady done dragged that lady till her wig came unglued on the side. Okay? But nobody said how terrible the service is at Old Lady Gang. And if your food come out cold, you got to pay for it anyway. And if your food is wrong, you got to pay for it anyway.
So that was an old video that resurfaced. Tamar did address and saying that's an old video. Kandi on Entertainment Tonight, she's like, you're not going to mention that woman in my interview. Then she says that she doesn't play with clowns. On The Breakfast Club, Tamar talks about this beef between her and Kandi, and if they could ever resolve it, and how long this relationship goes back.
And who started it?
Okay, so I'm not going to really get into it because I don't want to muster up the situation.
Okay.
So we really basically wouldn't be here if I wasn't lied on. And that's my thing. Like, I can deal with anything, but don't lie on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's my thing. And
So wait, when you say lie, you're talking about when Kandi said Todd did not come for you or threaten you, but you said he did when y'all had that backstage moment?
so that clip came up, that was 3 years ago. And it really did something to me because she didn't choose to kind of like divert from the situation. She chose to call me a clown. And that pissed me off because
This is confusing for the audience that might be a little confused. And I don't know if it's based off an edit, because we have to remember some of these interviews on The Breakfast Club are pre-recorded and then released like the next day. But based off the edit, what Lauren is bringing up was what we've covered. There's so much when it comes to Tamar and Kandi's beef. I would go through it with you guys, but it's just too much. I've done multiple videos documenting this over the last few years. Since they settled their beef on Celebrity Big Brother, which Tamar won, and Kandi was on that season, they settled their beef. They were in a good place. And then it got reignited. So we've covered a lot of that. So I don't want to go through all of the history in regards to that. But here, Lauren is talking about Tamar accusing Todd of basically getting crunk with her backstage at one of these concerts. So that reignited their beef. But Tamar here is bringing up the old footage from the OLG comments that she made about 3 years ago. And now she's referring to what Kandi said to her in the Entertainment Tonight interview. So I feel like either something was cut out here or she's intentionally misdirecting and making herself the victim. I mean...
be here had it not been for the lies.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But what I don't want to do is continue that conversation and take away from all the hard work that I have been doing these past couple of years and make.
Here's the thing, and I know there will be the Tamartians that will be like, Kempire, you just don't like Tamar, or you were just like a Kandi stand. No, I've been covering this story for so long, and not just the Kandi and the Tamar of it all. It's Tamar versus everybody. At what point do we look at the common denominator? We have all gone to school. We all have some sort of education where we can kind of like, wait a minute though. Every time you're playing the victim, every time it's you versus someone else, we could go down the list from friendships to her relationships. We were just talking about Bang Yang Yang Man. So and we always hear Tamar, here we go in another interview. I'm working on myself. I'm healing. I'm doing all this stuff. At what point do we say, Tamar, you are the problem? And here's the major problem for me when it comes to Tamar. I'm not saying all these people are necessarily innocent either. However, she will never really address what exactly did Tamar do in this particular situation. Where could you have done better? She'll always just give a blanket statement like, I'm not saying that I'm completely innocent, but she will never be like, well, I did this and I shouldn't have done that. It will always divert back to the other person. Not just Kandi. We can go down the whole list of people. We've covered some of the beefs that she's had in just the last 3-4 years, maybe last 2 years.
About a beef that I actually don't have with a person currently. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Were y'all ever cool or no?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like the whole Escape group. Like, I am Eris's godmother and Tiny is Logan's godmother. So we have been around each other for like 20, 30 years.
Right.
And so it was really a lot for us to have that kind of a falling out because of a lie. When you just should have told the public you did what you did and it was what it was and everybody moves on. But continuing to stick by the narrative that, it has to be Tamar because Tamar it's an easy target. To me, it was wrong. And that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
Is there any chance to reconcile? Like if somebody put you
You
on
have
the
to
phone?
ask her that. You know, I just feel like when you lie on a person publicly, then it's your responsibility to make that right.
Do you feel like
Here's the thing. I can give you Candy's answer. It's a no. Because here's the thing. You got to be, and this is why I think during their last beef, I said, Kandi, don't respond. Don't respond. Don't get in the mud. It's just not worth it. You have a lot going on. You have a lot that you need to take care of in regards to that restaurant. You've got the Broadway stuff going on. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And I think if it was me personally and I did that interview with Entertainment Tonight, I would have told Entertainment Tonight, please take that out of the interview. I don't want this to reignite anything. I don't want even address. And please understand, Kandi has the power to do that within Entertainment Tonight. I don't want that to even address. And I know a lot of things we don't care. It is what it is. But just because I would not want to give anyone that much power to now, okay, every time you do an interview to promote whatever you're promoting, my name is going to be brought up. I'm like, please take that out. If anything, I'm going to put that shade on Bryce because Bryce was the one, he was making a joke when talking about Kandi and the gang in the restaurant. Then he was like, oh, well, maybe, he's doing his job. But me personally, I would have been like, please take that out of the interview. I don't blame Kandi for feeling the way that she feels about Tamar because the situation between them got really ugly after we all thought that things were good. Just rewind time because literally everything was good and then all of a sudden things were not between her and Tamar. Again, even if we didn't have the Kandi of it all with Tamar, it's Tamar versus this one. Tamar versus that one. Tamar. At what particular point is Tamar going to really take true accountability, really get some help? Because at this particular point, it's actually kind of scary how she just doesn't understand her part in a lot of these things. A lot of times Tamar is making it seem like she is the victim. Oh, I'm working on myself. I'm healing. I honestly, a few years ago, fell for it. I was like, Tamar says she's healing. She's really taking the steps. I really fell for it. And then drama after drama after drama. It's Tamar versus everyone else. It can't be everyone else at one particular point. And I'm not saying that all of these people, too, are not playing a part. We all play a part because we all can ignore. However, it's always Tamar is involved. She's the common denominator in a lot of these beefs. And even when she talks about it, she makes herself the victim. And she's talking about how she's working on herself. I'm still waiting to see the progression. And I'm sure you are too. Guys, one thing I will give before we go, one thing I will give Tamar, because there are a lot of people that do interviews that are not interesting and you're bored. She's always a good interview. Just saying. And always good reality television. Guys, as always, I want to know your thoughts on what Tamar had to say about the new season of the Braxton family, the Braxtons, and her thoughts on not attending Towanda Braxton's wedding and her on-again, off-again beef with Kandi Burruss Tucker. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.
Here we go now.